All right, family. Bring them all in. Let us get up to about 1,000 tonight. We are live. We are live. We are live. All right. Peace, family. I see all of my beautiful family here. My intellectual extremists are in the building. The intellectual extremists are in the building. Now, this is going to be a highly educational live tonight. Highly educational. I'm going to bring my sister, Divine Stargate, in. So, family, do this for me. Put this in your IG story. Put it in your story. We are about to go there. Put this in your story. Peace to those in Switzerland. Peace from those in Detroit. Peace to my family over in Cali. I'm right here in Cali with you. Don't trip. I'm right here with you. Let me see where my intellectual extremists are. Let me see where we at. Y'all know what to do. Let me see where we at. All right. I'm going to bring my sister in right now. Just wanted to lay the base here, family. We are going to go over science. We're going to go over dates. We're going over laws. We're going to lay out everything here because I noticed that sister was getting hit from a lot of angles with people. And they were saying a lot of different things, and they didn't know what they were talking about, and too many people believe that vaccines were safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay it out from her brother, myself, because I've been directly involved in this fight for a number of years. So we're not going to talk on emotion. We're going to go straight into science here. Now, Instagram is suppressing the numbers right now on purpose, but I'm going to bring my sister in so that we can go right into this. All right, family? All right. Here we go. 1 second. I'm going to bring my sister in. Coming in 3, 2, and 1. Sister. Peace, sister. How are you? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you, sister.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yes.
Peace, family.
Peace. Okay, so my sister, this is something that me and you definitely have. This is long overdue. All right, this is long overdue.
Thanks.
I've been watching you push hard and push strong on your own, doing your thing. You've been out in the field trying to lay it down, and educate people. But as you have witnessed, it is a very difficult thing trying to educate our people about this enemy's system. So, but I'm proud of you. Okay, very proud of you doing your thing. So I'm here to assist you as your brother. Since you reached out to me, family, she reached out and she said, okay, we need to go ahead and end this because the Negroes is I'm trying to save people and they're coming at me. So I said, all right. So that's why I'm here, sisters. Go ahead and introduce yourself and let's go ahead and go right into it.
Peace. I'm Goddess Ayana, aka Divine Stargate on Instagram, and I talk a lot about things that affect the Black community, and particular on the last few days, and I mean over the last few years, just because my experience with my own children not vaccinating and still feeling pressured and things like that. I've really been wanting our people to understand that vaccines are not safe at all, and I just I just posted something recently and I had to delete some comments because people are getting extra wild about defending their masses pharmaceutical system. So I really appreciate you for coming on here with me, because I know you have the facts, and you can just bust it out. But yeah, I have a lot of people trying to figure out if vaccines are healthy or not. And hopefully tonight we can go ahead and end their curiosity on that matter.
Absolutely. Sister, I'm honored to be on here with you to serve the people. A lot of people don't see this as really serving the people, but this literally is us going directly to the people, giving them the solutions, telling them the science, the facts, where these things came from, what to research so that they can prevent possible autism from striking their child, okay?
Right.
And so we can prevent all of these negative things from happening. So we're using social media as a tool to actively serve the people. So we, a lot of us are in the field physically, and some of us are on social media, some of us are on both. So I just appreciate you, sister. So go ahead and just you start with the craziest stuff that you hear and the craziest questions you get, and the most irritating ones. I'll just say that whichever ones irritate you the most.
Oh,
yes.
My most irritating. Okay, the most irritating response I get when I start posting up about vaccines is, "Well, I was vaccinated and nothing happened to me." A lot of times these people have asthma or allergies or eczema, and they don't really attribute their allergies to like pollen. Yeah. Like, if people really think about it, pollen is something that's always been around. Pollen, you know, pollen, in order for this planet to survive, pollen has to happen. And for us to be allergic to such natural things, people don't think about it. But it's a vaccine injury. So to the people that say, well, you know, nothing's wrong with me, what would you say to them?
Number one, the first thing that everyone has to know, and I handle people like this really quick all the time. Number one, they say, I was vaccinated. Number one, you are dealing with individual susceptibility. Number one. Okay, meaning your immune system is not mine. My immune system is not yours. So what will affect you one way will affect me differently, or what will not affect you will possibly affect me, or what will not affect me will possibly affect you. So when it comes to being vaccinated, it is all on an individual basis. So therefore, no one can say, well, I was vaccinated, and use that as a blanket statement to generalize everyone's immune system as though we are all connected 100%. So that's number one. I just leave it at that. I can stop there on that one. Because
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, no, please. No, now I want to ask you, sister, are you recording this video? Because I have my group, they're recording it. So
okay, no, I don't know how to record it while I'm actually going live. I was just going to try to screen record, but if anybody wants to send me this afterwards, please do. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get it. So all my intellectual extremists who are in here, make sure you're recording it. Ever did, and we never needed vaccines before. That's number one. Number two, the word vaccine itself means a weakened or dead strain of a virus injected into the body in order to stimulate the body's immune response. So therefore, one, that's in the Webster's dictionary. Anyone who has a dictionary, go look it up. A vaccine is the actual virus injected into the body, whether if it is a live virus or a killed virus, you are being injected with it to stimulate the body's immune response. So when a child is injected with the virus, the doctor is saying, well, we're seeing if the child's body will be able to fight it off. But they don't tell you about all of those children who die right on the table because their body couldn't fight it off. Right? So that's number one. When they're talking about that. So if you're saying for a vaccine to be injected, which number one, that's the number one way to do it. Sometimes they have the nasal spray, which we're going to get into that later on. But most nasal spray alternative vaccines are live viruses. So they'll tell you straight up, this is a live virus for those who know, which they're telling you, listen, I'm giving your child the virus. They're telling you this. All right, everyone needs to know how serious this really is, because everything that my sister has been trying to tell people is absolutely accurate. And so I'm doing her the blessing of clearing her name, one, because y'all not gonna sit here and make all black women think they just crazy. All right, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. All right, I gotta just do this. All the black women and all women, period, because I have a lot of Caucasian women who go through this too, but mainly black women who are like throwing this at everybody. They're not crazy when they're telling you this. This is absolutely true. It's accurate. It is backed up by science. And we're going to go into many different things to prove this. But when it comes to the vaccine being needed by the immune system, that is never true. Number two, there is no such thing as an outbreak of any disease that was handled by vaccines. That does not exist. That is not true, including polio. Now, people try to toss that in there and say, well, polio was wiped out by vaccinations. Not true at all. The polio disease came from Germany, came from Europe, where Caucasians were, where all of these diseases came from originally, from them. That's something that everybody needs to know. All right. Yeah. When you're talking about, wiped out polio, no such thing occurred. That had to do with, once again, with individual susceptibility. So everyone's individual immune system, some fought it off, some didn't, et cetera, et cetera. So let's not try to lie, because a lot of people try to lie and say that, epidemics were wiped out. And in order for there to be an epidemic, there has to be at least 10,000, a little more than that. It has to be a large number. But if they say hundreds, like with the measles, it was about, I think, 620 cases. That's not an outbreak. There's no such thing. Go ahead. Yes.
Can I just say something about measles? Mm-hmm. My son has never been vaccinated. He's 4 years old now. But when he was 2 years old, he got measles. He got rid of the measles in 3 days. So I didn't really understand why they were making measles seem so, so deadly, when maybe measles was deadly at a time, when we didn't have any access to medical care whatsoever. But I honestly believe any of us that were tapped into our, our ancestral medicines would have been able to deal with that anyway. Mm-hmm. But measles to me was just like chickenpox, which a lot of us got when we were younger.
Yes.
And it goes away in a few days. So I don't understand why I would inject my child with a vaccine that not only has the measles, but has chemicals and toxins and heavy metals that are not conducive to the body.
And sister, and just to validate your point, number one, thank you for not vaccinating your child. Thank you.
Right.
All right. Seriously, in particularly your young king, your young prince, because the MMR vaccine and the hepatitis B are the two which target us, the young black males. Those are the targeting vaccines, number one, which gives us autism, number one. Okay, I'm going to quote, and everything that I'm going to say here, family, just know this. This is not coming from books I've read and just things I've heard. I have met with the scientists directly. I've been to the CDC 6 times. I have been given the documentation. We brought it out and blasted it to the world. I brought it to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who brought it to 1.2 billion people in 43 countries at the 20th year anniversary of the Million Man March. I was there when he opened his mouth and spoke this information. So we are not giving you some little things here and there that you hear about on YouTube. No, this is direct information. So I want everyone to know that what my sister is saying is absolutely true, and what your brother is saying is absolutely backed up by science. So, sister, number one, measles, when measles was affecting people, when it was out and outbreak and all that, that was in Europe, once again, with white folk. All right. That's why it's called the German measles. It was out there with white folk because they didn't know how to bathe. Okay, now I'm not slandering white people, but we're talking about between 710 and 1492 when the Moors went into civilized white people. When they crossed over from West Africa into what we call Spain today, white people were sleeping with animals. They were laying with cows and chickens and dogs, like a lot of them lay with the dogs today. This is what they were doing. I'm just gonna be real. All right, they didn't know how to bathe. They didn't have soap. They didn't know how to brush their teeth. They didn't know any of these things. We civilized them, so they had many diseases which developed from their lack of hygiene or their lack of caring for themselves. So that's where many of these diseases came from. But the German measles is what came from them over in Europe. So let's make that very clear. All right, and that's why it doesn't affect black people like that, because it's not. Our immune system is so powerful that we fight things off, like you said, in 3 days. Your child got measles, he fought it off in 3 days.
In 3
yeah. Right? With no vaccines, right?
No vaccines.
So you just disproved the fact that you needed a vaccine for that. Right. Okay. I just make sure we're on the same page, and just so you know, you're not crazy. Okay, good. All right. So make sure. So that's that one. And for the MMR vaccine, very important fact that everyone should note: the MMR vaccine, also known as measles, mumps, rubella, is a trivalent vaccine. I'm going to go into certain scientific and medical terms. Trivalent meaning 3 vaccines in one needle, okay? Trivalent. Each vaccine has a 75 cents excise tax attached to it. You as a citizen, all of you as a citizen, when you pay your taxes, you are actually paying into vaccine production. 75 cents. This is why they force it on you so much. This is why when women go into the hospital, they are always questioning you about your vaccines. You go to your school, they question you about vaccines. You go to work, did you get vaccinated? Because they make money off of them giving you vaccines. So 75 cents plus 75 cents is $1.50. $1.50 plus another 75 cents is $2.25. One vaccine, the MMR vaccine, one needle with 3 vaccines, the MMR vaccine, that's $2.25 that goes to the government because you just paid for it. That's just one needle. Okay? The MMR vaccine, according to Dr. William Thompson, everybody please write down every name that I cite, date, law, everything that I'm speaking, please make sure you write it down because this information has to get out. Dr. William Thompson, who is the senior lead scientist over the Center for Disease Control's vaccine division, currently, right now, is the highest authority when it comes to vaccines on the planet. No one can overrule his authority as far as science, research, anything on this planet. All right? He said, quote, if we would have revealed this information talking about autism being given to black boys through the MMR vaccine, if we would have revealed this information at least 10 years earlier, we could have prevented at least 100,000 black boys from having autism, end quote. Wow. That was in 2004, right? When he said if we would have revealed it at least 10 years earlier. So 2014, he made that statement regarding 2004 because they had revealed this information in a closed meeting. I'm going to give you specific names. Number 1, Dr. William Thompson. If you look up that name as of right now, he still works at the Center for Disease Control. He only communicates through his lawyer. He does not talk to anyone directly anymore. He's the one that was in the meeting. Number 2, Frank DeStefano. All right? Frank DeStefano. Number 3, Dr. Colleen Boyle. Number 4, Dr. Marsha-Lynn Jurgen Alsop. Very long name. Dr. Marsha-Lynn Jurgen Alsop. These were the 4 people present in the meeting where they brought the documents in that proved and showed the numbers that autism in black boys and white boys from the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, MMR vaccine, was hitting black boys at the rate of 236% more than Caucasian boys. Let me say this again. The MMR vaccine was giving black boys autism at the rate of 236% more than Caucasian boys. This is their science. Now, I'm giving you all this to be very specific because the sister who you're seeing on the other side of this video, she did not vaccinate her child, and she in particularly did not give him the MMR vaccine, which is the number 1 that targets black boys, along with the hepatitis B vaccine, which targets black boys. The MMR gives black boys autism at the rate of 236% more than Caucasian boys, but the hepatitis B vaccine gives black boys autism at the rate of 500% more than Caucasian boys. Okay? Now, these are very specific numbers, very specific names. Everything I'm giving you is very specific and precise. The moment you start to delve deep into these things and learn all of this and you start to speak it, it becomes very dangerous. Okay? So this is very real. So, sister, I'm stressing this so that you can feel very good to know that you were right. You are not crazy. All right? You are absolutely on point. And all of the women who did not vaccinate, you on point. And even the sisters who did vaccinate, you only did what you thought was best and what people told you. So it's okay. It is okay. But I'm just letting you know that you're not crazy. Okay, so I believe you said vaccines, we need it for our immune system. Your son got measles and he was done with that in 3 days. And what was the last point on that last one, just so I don't go past anything?
Yeah, I think that was the main thing. You just start saying something about the measles, and I wanted to just point it out that my son did have the measles, and we knocked it out in 3 days.
See, and just to validate why her son was able to knock it out in 3 days. Oh, someone said repeat the names. Okay, I'm going to repeat the names really quick. This was the meeting where they found the actual results. Okay, I'm referring to the CDC, Center for Disease Control. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the organization which manufactures all the science, which puts together the vaccines, and then they send it over to the pharmaceutical companies that manufacture the actual needles and everything, right? They had a meeting when they discovered that autism was being given to black boys faster than everyone else. And these 4 people had a meeting where they destroyed the evidence. They destroyed the evidence. They brought in a shredder and a trash can. They shredded all of the information. They kept trying over and over again to change the numbers, to skew the numbers, to try to get rid of the 236% likely increase of autism of black boys versus Caucasian boys. They kept trying to do this. But these names are Dr. Colleen Boyle. All right? Dr. Colleen Boyle. Dr. Frank DeStefano. Dr. Frank DeStefano, Dr. Marsha Lynn Jurgen Alsop, and the most important person who still works there today, Dr. William Thompson. All right? These are the 4 names. Make sure you guys write those down and study this part of the video. Very important information. Most people have never heard of them, but in that meeting, they destroyed everything except Dr. William Thompson had all of the information backed up on his computer because he knew something was wrong. And he also said, sister, quote, and this is, you can hear the audio on the DVD called Vaxxed. 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 That is a DVD everyone should get. If you would like for me to do a presentation of this in your city, go to ReesIslam.com, book me, and I will come out there and bring the entire city out. We'll do the presentation on it. But he also said, quote, I have great shame now whenever I see a child with autism because I know I have been part of the problem. End quote. These are all things that he said. There's an entire 3-hour audio of him on the phone with Dr. Brian Hooker, a good friend of mine, where he revealed all this stuff. It was all on audio. Okay, and that's out. But if you don't have it, I'll put it up as well on YouTube more than likely. So, sister, I'm not sorry if that was too much, but
no, please.
Okay. So, next point that you have over there.
Well, what I wanted to talk about next was just some of the heavy metals and the toxins or whatever, because when you say vaccines are dangerous, I think to me the most simple answer is really what are the ingredients, what's in there, and why do we think some of these ingredients are okay? So if you could just list some of the the well-known toxic ingredients of vaccines.
Absolutely. Number 1, formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. When you start to go down these ingredients, you will never want to put any one of these ingredients in your body individually. So why would you want to put all of them in your body collectively? Number 1, formaldehyde, insanity. If you don't know what formaldehyde is, go look it up. You're going to be like, oh, okay, no, wouldn't want that. Okay, number 1. Number 2, you have something called thimerosal, which is the scientific name for mercury. It is a mercury preservative chemical. Thimerosal. Actually, thimerosal and or mercury is one of the most, if not the most, dangerous chemical. Okay, mercury is 1,000 times more neurotoxic than lead. Okay, mercury is in your thermostat, I believe, on your wall, or your thermometer, your thermometer, where if the temperature goes up and down, you can see the little silver piece to signify the temperature. If that falls on the ground at your school, they will close the school and send in a crew with hazardous material suits on to clean up that mercury. But they put it in your child's vaccine, though. Right. So these are things we have to look at. So you have mercury, also known as thimerosal. You have aluminum. Okay. So we went over thimerosal, aka mercury. We went over aluminum. We went over formaldehyde, something that everyone needs to know. When it comes to, now we're going to go into some chemistry really quick. If you mix mercury and aluminum together, they become 100% not only synergistic, meaning they work together, but they become 100% corrosive, meaning acidic. They eat away at whatever they are dropped on. They eat at it. So if you ever seen, and now someone said right here, good, I'm glad you brought that up, mercury is in tuna fish. I was hoping someone was not going to come at me with that weak argument, but let me go ahead and debunk that. When you are talking about mercury being in tuna fish, you have two different types of mercury. You have ethyl and then you have methyl, meaning one that is organic from the earth and one that is inorganic. I am referring to the inorganic version of this mercury. All right. Pow. Now, so that's another thing we need to understand. Every time people talk about this stuff, the number one thing you do not want to do is justify insanity or evil from this government being perpetuated on the people. Don't justify that crap. If they killed you blatantly, what makes you think that they will not kill you covertly? They do it all the time. All the time. They will kill you in person, in front of your face, in front of your family. And you think they won't do it covertly behind the closed doors at the hospital? You think they won't do this? This is not a game. It is very real. But for those who are weak-minded and you're not able to confront, so you want to justify the insanity or the evil of your own government, fine. You just sit the hell back and let us work. Now, sister, this is how I get, sister, when it comes to those who want to keep the enemy's mind. This is, so don't mind your brother, but I gotta go right to it. Okay?
Gotta be done.
All right, so we went over a few things. Formaldehyde, which is, just so everyone knows, formaldehyde is a pickling chemical. It is a chemical that is used in dead bodies. When a person passes away, they use formaldehyde in the body to make it stiff and so that the body will not smell from the chemicals inside and from the buildup of all the liquids. So formaldehyde, mercury, aluminum, they have done studies by mixing aluminum and mercury or thimerosal together in a petri dish of brain cells. They put a drop of each one on it and it killed 100% of the brain cells. They have done this many different times, many different ways. Another chemical is monkey kidney cells. Yes. Monkey kidney cells. Okay, now, and the reasoning why they put not only monkey kidney cells, they put live tissue from fetuses as well. So they take the tissue from baby fetuses, aborted fetal tissue.
Right.
While a lot of sisters, you got to be kind of responsible when you're out there having sex. Do your thing, but do your best to please. If you are not ready for a child, don't get pregnant. Just don't do it. Because once you go and get an abortion, that body goes towards so many evil things that you hate. Hate, but you may not know that you have contributed to that system, right?
Right.
So, so we're going to be very real, sister. All right. So monkey kidney cells, aborted fetal tissue, and the reasoning behind them using the aborted fetal tissue or live tissue is because the body, in order for it to recognize that something comes inside of it and not fight against it, is it must look like a human cell. So your body has a defense mechanism which fights against what is called pathogens. Pathogens is a scientific term meaning bacteria, meaning anything that comes from outside to inside that the body does not recognize that seems to be a threat. So in order for it to get past the body's defense system, it must look like human cells. So they use aborted fetal tissue, but they inject the chemicals inside of it so that it basically hides inside of the aborted fetal tissue, gets in the body, and then it causes destruction and wreaks havoc within the body. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Those are ingredients. Caterpillar tissue. I know it's like, right, like how? Like what? But they do. It's really insane. They have...
Diabolical.
Oh, it's diabolical. They have so many different chemical systems. Those are examples. The top most destructive are the aluminum, thimerosal, aka mercury, the aborted fetal tissue. Those are the top, actually, most destructive. The main two are the aluminum and thimerosal.
Shit. Okay. That's enough. You just list those three. We should be not dealing with it at all.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, we'll leave it at that. Now, if anyone wants to go and look at any more ingredients when it comes to vaccines, you can go to the CDC website. They'll tell you. They show it right there. They show a lot of them. These are ingredients here and here and when you read it, you may not believe. You'll be like, how? Wait, so they just put it out in the open? Yeah, they're letting you know. That's how ignorant. They're like, yeah, that's how ignorant you are. You're not gonna read it. You're not going to come and just check it out. Go to the CDC website. They have the ingredients listed, not for all of the vaccines, but for many of them they do. And when you read it, you will not believe what you are reading. Trust me when I say that. So, yes, ma'am.
I also wanted to make the point that a lot of the vaccines that are in the suburbs are different from the vaccines that are going to the hood.
Yes, correct. Yes. Oh, can I, you want to tag me in on that one?
Please.
Okay. All right. To my melanated family, okay, whether if you call yourself black, whether if you call yourself Muslim, indigenous, Asiatic, Aboriginal, Moor, whatever you call yourself, your vaccines that come to your neighborhoods, these are the impoverished neighborhoods, these are the ghettos where the projects are at, where we are normally in the hood. The vaccines that come to our neighborhoods are the worst vaccines, period. They are specifically used, manufactured, and sent to targeted areas to target melanated people. Why? Because these vaccines that come into your neighborhood are literally melanin coded.
Wow. Okay.
These are called genetic weapons. Okay, now we're going to get into a level or an area where now it's going to seem like it may sound like conspiracy, but I'm going to give quick facts to demonstrate that it's not a theory, but it's an actual fact. We're talking about genetic weapons that only target black and brown people. Okay? Why am I going to say this? You have something called the National Security Study Memorandum 200, which was written by Dr. Henry Kissinger, who was the 32nd Secretary of State under President Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. He stated in this National Security Study Memorandum, quote, depopulation should be the highest priority of U.S. foreign policy towards the third world, end quote. Right now, you have vaccines from the Bill Gates administration being sent all throughout Africa, being sent all throughout the Caribbean, being sent all to different parts of the melanated world. They have sterilized over 1 million women in Nairobi, Kenya. They paid the sisters to take the vaccination so that they could be sterilized. They have sterilized, eradicated so many people in Zimbabwe, in Harare, Zimbabwe. 5,000 people a week, 20,000 people a month were dying. They say from AIDS, but they coincidentally had their vaccine, and that right after the vaccination, they were dying. And the number one business in the capital of Zimbabwe, Harare, became coffin building. So we need to understand this is where this goes. And this came from the United States government, and it was passed through the World Health Organization. Okay. Last point I'm going to make on that, because we're going to go into other stuff, I'm sure. There is an organization called Gavi. Gavi, G-A-V-I, stands for the Global Alliance for Vaccination and Immunization. This is the international organization which was created through a $750 million donation from the Bill Gates administration. And the purpose of Gavi is to make sure that the entire planet is vaccinated. Okay? So I'll stop right there on that point.
Wow.
This is a lot, family. It's a lot. And once you start to see how serious this world gets, then you understand why some of us seem a little too serious to y'all. You're like, man, you're too serious. You're too serious. I'm like, nah, you ain't serious enough, bruh. You don't understand what's going on. I can have fun. Y'all see me dancing. We have fun. We have fun. Yeah, we can have all kinds of fun, but we just always have to remember we are still at war. You have one eye. Always have one eye on the enemy. Even when you sleep, one eye on this enemy all day long. You have to. Sorry. I mean, y'all don't have to. We do, but y'all don't have to. All right. This is how it is. So, yes, ma'am.
Facts. Okay. I did want to make a point because I know a lot of people know that I've been heavily vaccinated because not only was I, vaccinated on a regular schedule, but living overseas on, dealing with military bases, we're vaccinated a little bit more. Yeah. Also, I was in Air Force for a short time, so you get like 5-6 shots at one time. And a lot of people want to know why, particularly maybe I don't have any, or they think I don't have any vaccine injuries. But once again, I do have allergies to pollen. So to me, that's a vaccine injury. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this, just growing up where I did, I ate a lot healthier than a lot of people here in America. I didn't have the same diet. So my diet consisted of a lot more vegetables and a lot less meat, just generally growing up. So I feel like my body was, very clean anyway. Another thing is, just like the vaccines in the hood and the projects are different, I was getting vaccinated on military bases. So the vaccines that I was getting were a higher grade than a lot of my brothers and sisters here in America that do live in impoverished neighborhoods. So that's another thing. So I just wanted to put that out there because people like to throw that at me. Like, look, I got injured, I got allergies, but, my body's different. Like you said, individual basis. So my body is very different.
Yeah. Just really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just really quick. Just to validate what she just said, dealing with the Air Force and the Army and everything with her being vaccinated, she told you a number of things. One, the vaccine was different as far as the grade or the level or the quality because she's in the Army. They don't want to kill their property. They just want to make sure they're under control. When you're in the Army military, you are property of the government. So they don't want to damage their property. They just want to make sure their property is controlled. Okay. By 2016, but in 2014, autism was in 1 in every 68 children. 1 in 68. And now, autism is in less than 1 in every 20. And this is as a direct result of us not being able to sue the vaccine manufacturers. Right after 1986, mark my words, write down everything I'm saying, go and research every damn thing I'm saying because you have to know what's going on here. So you specified all these different things because all of these different things, 1989 was the year when all these different things started happening. Everything from the asthma increase to the autism, to the Asperger's, to the speech delay, the language delay, all of these things started happening directly as a result of more chemicals being put in the vaccines because now they can do whatever, literally. They can put radioactive cesium-134, a major chemical. They can do whatever. And they do put whatever they want in there. And you can't sue them. So people go to the vaccine court. And here's the website that everyone should go to if you want to look up every single problem that your body can run into from having a vaccine. This website is called the VAERS system. Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. VAERS. Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. That is the website which lists all the problems that people experience after taking a vaccine. Thousands of cases, tens of thousands of people, over and over and over. And you can see all of it. All this stuff is well documented. The next point on that really quick, anybody who wants to say that there are no studies connecting autism to vaccines, let me go ahead and smack you in your neck with this one. Okay. There is a book called Miller's Review. Miller's Review, aka Miller's 400. Get this book. There are over 400 studies in that book alone which demonstrate a connection between autism and vaccinations, Asperger's and vaccinations, speech delay and vaccinations, asthma and vaccinations, etc., etc., etc. Miller's Review, also known as Miller's 400. There was one more thing, I believe. Many of you were talking about the flu shot and all these different things. Someone talked about the flu shot, and someone also said international travel. That's another, right? International travel. One, for the flu shot, do not get it. I'm telling you this. Do not get it. Do not get it. If you don't want to listen to me, fine. Go to my YouTube channel and look at my interview with a Caucasian doctor by the name of Judy Mikovits, who was the one who brought out the information dealing with AIDS and autism. She's the one, AIDS, autism, vaccines, all that. She's the one that broke the story dealing with Magic Johnson and having AIDS and all that. It's that white woman, her. She brought it all out. So go YouTube, Riza Islam, flu vaccine, and she gonna lay it all out on you so you can hear the truth about it. The flu vaccine that they are pushing, of course, gives you the flu, number one, but it has a lot more chemicals in it now than it ever did. That's why they're pushing it so hard, because once you get the vaccine, it's going to cause a lot of problems that you are then going to have to go to the doctor for, and then they are going to relegate you over to the pharmaceutical company with a prescription to get these pills that your insurance company is going to have to be billed for. So the doctor's going to get paid, pharmaceuticals going to get paid, everybody's going to get paid, and you are going to become a patient for life. Okay? That's where this is going. So do not take the flu vaccine by the injection. Do not take it with the alternative that they're going to try to offer you, which is the nasal spray. Don't give that to your child. That's a live virus. It's alive. They tell you this. All right. So all of those things, yes, don't take that. And lastly, for the international vaccine, depending on what country you're going to, you will have to take the yellow fever vaccine for certain countries like Ghana and things like that in Africa. You will have to get your medical exemption form. Your medical exemption form, you will have to get that. There are, in all 50 states, the medical exemption form is still good. In all 50 states, the philosophical exemption is still good. We have about 15 minutes left, sis, so we're going to get it all in.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'm just giving all this information because once people watch this video, they're going to need to have everything to just be handled. So you ain't got to say nothing. All right. Just put it on your brother. Say, look, go hear him. We talk. Go listen to him. And that's it. And just cool. All right. Let's see. I think philosophical vaccine exemption form, medical exemption form, and in 47 states, the religious exemption form. Okay? 47 states, the religious exemption form exists. The only 3 states which the religious exemption form, you already know, does not exist anymore completely is California, Mississippi, and West Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, they got rid of that. We were fighting against in California SB 277, which was the bill that eradicated religious exemption. We were fighting against it, went to Sacramento and fought against it, and the bastard black politicians came out here, and they are the ones who gave it up. They opened it up, they passed it, they told us they wouldn't pass it. Mike Gibson, number one, I'm calling him by name because I know him personally. I had their damn number. We were like this. We got traders in 2018. Yeah, money. We have traders in 2018. This is something everybody needs to know. See, when you're really doing this work, it's different than the people talking, saying they're doing it. No, I'm talking about some straight up Uncle Tom devil. I mean, like, God damn, straight devil. Mike Gibson of Carson. Sebastian Riley Thomas of LA, Mark Riley Thomas's son, and let's see, and Isadora Hall of Compton, my city. I know all them personally. And they all said, we're not going to pass this bill, Reza and Minister Tony. We're not going to do it. We educated them, gave them information. They said, oh, wow, we're not going to pass this. Next thing you know, boom, they passed it. Their name is on the list of those who passed the damn bill. All right? Wow. And guess what? Coincidentally, they stopped talking to us. We don't hear from them no more.
I was going to say, have y'all spoken with them?
No. I don't want to say.
Right, I feel you.
Devils. And I'm dead serious. So you have parents. Oh, boy. Had to catch it, had to save it. All right, let's come back in, family, real quick.